This segment is brought to you by Rouse's Markets. Feels like home. Hello again, everyone. I'm Martin Folse, and on a very sad note, we come to you today in remembering Tony Haselden. Of course, a lot of people in the area knew Tony. He was such a friend to so many people in this area. Whether you were in songwriting in a band or you had other ways of life, Tony was a joy to be around. I first remember meeting Tony back in the LaRue days. And as a matter of fact, LaRue was my first concert I ever got to see at the Municipal Auditorium back in the late 70s. I went with Mike Haydale, and it was certainly a treat to watch Tony and the rest of LaRue really put on a great show at the Municipal Auditorium. They rose in stature over the years. When LaRue broke up, Tony Haselden became a giant in the songwriting business, and I mean a giant. And we'll have more shows on that on HTV, and I'll let you know that after the obituary. But let's bring up Tony's picture, if we can now. Tony Haselden, beloved husband, father, grandfather, and friend, passed away peacefully at the age of 79. Born on September 19, 1945 in Mullins, South Carolina, Tony spent his early years surrounded by the love of his extended family, creating memories with his cousins on his grandparents' farm. As a teenager, Tony moved to South Louisiana, where he made his mark both academically and athletically. His drive and curiosity led him to enter the U.S. Navy, where he taught himself to play guitar during his 4-year service. At the time, he didn't know those nights playing guitar on the U.S. Navy ship would lead to a lifelong career. After his service, Tony moved back to Louisiana and kept up with his guitar. While playing a show at the Rebel Club in Thibodaux, he met Julia, the club owner's daughter. And that spark turned into a love story that lasted more than 50 beautiful years. After earning his college degree, Tony followed his heart into the world of music. As a founding member of the band LaRue, Tony recorded albums across California and Colorado, toured the country, and proudly took part in the USA Tour and USO Tour, sharing music and joy with American troops. Later, he found his creative home in Nashville during the golden era of 1990s country music. His songwriting career flourished there, filled with #1 song celebrations, Songwriter in the Round nights, and countless performances that help raise funds and spirits at charitable events. Music may have been the soundtrack of Tony's life, but his greatest pride and joy was his family. He was a devoted husband to Julia, a loving dad to Casey, a proud father-in-law to Peyton, and a tender-hearted grandfather to Kellum, Cece, and Murphy. Tony, as I said before, had a way of lighting up a room, not just with his music, but with his quick wit and his warm, welcoming presence. He never held back when it came to showing love. His hugs were tight, his laughter contagious, and his heart was always open. To know Tony was to know kindness, humor, and a life well lived, a life filled with chances taken, stories told, songs written, and memories made. He was surrounded by loving friends and family throughout his entire life. It truly was a grand adventure, and those who loved him will carry his melody in their hearts forever. Just want to talk a little bit about Tony. I can remember meeting him, of course, when all the bands were playing for the Laid Back series that we had, and LaRue was there. I didn't know Tony that well at the time. Like I said, I knew him from LaRue, met him, but he was so big on the circuit back then, he probably didn't even remember me back then. It was not until after the Laid Back series and when I got interested in songwriting that I contacted Tony in Nashville, and I spent many nights over there with Julia and Tony, and we developed a great friendship. Him and Julia were so welcoming so encouraging along the way. And of course, we did several one-on-ones, several shows with Tony. And then later, we would put together a songwriters tour. I had the opportunity and the privilege of touring Louisiana with 6 well-known songwriters, and we went everywhere from Shreveport, Monroe, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, and Houma. Even played for the governor on one occasion. And we'll show you that in weeks to come as we remember Tony Haselden, but he was such a giant. Over 45 hits, many, many number ones, and this legacy that we will show you in the next few weeks is second to none. I'll bring in old LaRue members. I'll bring in Chief Brian Zarang, who spent a lot of time with Tony. I'll bring in, like I said, friends, and some of the people we're going to interview are stars today, and they just love Tony Haselden. They love Julia, too. They were a good pair, a good team. So as we say goodbye on this obituary, be watching Facebook and YouTube and also HTV, as we're going to have so much on Tony Haselden. We can't fit this in one segment. We have 50-plus hours of interviews and facts and figures and stardom from Tony Haselden. Tony, I know you're looking down, and right now, it's all about you. We will show you more on HTV. Stay tuned. This segment was brought to you by Trapp Chevrolet. We're always on your side.